Usually what happens is, people come up to you and they're very aggressive and they say, why is your mota puff like 100 rupees or whatever.
Why even give them an explanation?
Because I'm CEO, bitch, or that kind of stuff.
Hi guys, you all know about a place we hang out in every single day. It's a home away from home. In fact, we hang out there so much that me and my friends often get asked, bro, tell us the truth. You have some sort of ownership in this place, right? Like you have some stake in this business, because otherwise, why would you go there every single day of your life? Like for me, it's like a ritual. I wake up in the morning, I take a shower, I take my bags, and I go to French Toast. And unfortunately and regrettably, I have to say that I don't own any part of this business, because the man, the myth, the legend, the person who owns it is right here in front of us. Hi Ayaz, how are you feeling, man?
Thank you for having me on this podcast. Shut it.
How are you
I'm feeling
feeling?
good. Yeah, feeling okay.
That's awesome.
Not bad.
The reason I say he's a legend is because, like, I feel like that word is used very often in different realms. But the reason I say it is because this is one person I really look up to. Um, like, it's almost like I have a bigger brother bond with him over the years. Like, I've seen him. Whenever I go to French Toast, he'll be right outside. He'll be managing his staff and doing all the housekeeping of everything that goes on there. But it's also the fact that in a city like Cochin, I think it's very easy to start a tattigada, which is like a street stall, or it's very easy to start a dosha center, or like Kerala food or a burger place. But I think this is a person who has like almost created coffee culture in Cochin. So for that, I'm very thankful.
And also maintain that standard and improve that standard over the course of years, which is again unheard of in Cochin, because most places open and then
Well, it's not unheard of. There are people
Yeah.
before me who have done amazing stuff. But yeah, it's rare for sure. It's very difficult to do it here vis-a-vis, say, if I were to do this in Dubai or Bombay, you would have a certain amount of energy that you draw from the city, right? Because everything's buzzing, things are
Yeah.
happening. Now I think Cochin is buzzing a little bit, but back when we opened, it was very dry. Wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Just waking up in the morning and kind of giving yourself that motivation. Just go out there, do something. Your coffee matters, or your French toast will make a difference. Yeah, that was tough. But yeah, I mean, thank you for recognizing it and appreciating it. This is what we live for, right?
I'm just doing it for a free cup of coffee.
yeah, guys, we've been going there for so many years. We don't even get a discount, okay? We pay full price every day that we go there.
But
He's just going to ignore that.
I have a question. So there are
Sure.
people that sit in coffee shops and order one cup of coffee and sit on their laptops the whole day. How as a coffee shop owner, how do you feel about that culture? Like, is it something you hate or?
Look, I've been running this business for about 15 years. So when I started, it was really mixed emotions because and I don't come from a business or entrepreneurial family. So you take a lot of advice, you listen to what people have to say, and then you have to kind of form your own conclusion, right? So initially, yes, I felt that you have to be really calculative about. You hear things like, how many times have this table been turned over? Then you try to do that, and then at some point, I think I realized that I'm not an accountant. I can't do business in a way where you have to calculate every single sort of table conversion. At the end of the day, it's I mean, for me now, after like so many years, in my head, it's become a sort of service that I am doing for myself and in my head for society. Okay. If you ask me, Ayaz, are you making enough money to kind of substantiate the fact that you're cleaning toilets, you're doing all kinds of jobs? No, I made far better money in advertising. I had a much better lifestyle when I was in Dubai. Having said that, doing this job, for me as a person, right? I'm not saying this for everybody. For me as a person, it's very satisfying. I can sleep better. I'm more confident because I've kind of pushed myself to, like, for instance, if you come to me and you ask me today, like, you know, you're so expensive or your pricing is this, and I know that I'm doing the best or uh, whatever I can to the most of my abilities. So I have the confidence to tell you, okay, I'm sorry that's your point of view. You can definitely go somewhere else and buy this egg puff or coffee.
Do you want to like tell us a bit about your journey to starting French Toast? Like you mentioned, you were in Dubai. There was a better lifestyle over there. But how did it lead up to you coming back to Kochi and starting this iconic place?
You want the truth?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so 2000, I think from 2000 up until about 2011, I was working in Dubai. I was in advertising. It was great. I loved it. I still love it. But I think I'd kind of hit burnout at that point because I was doing a lot of traveling, crazy deadlines, that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Big clients. So I had two options: either to come back and start business here, or move from Dubai to a country where there's a better work-life balance.
Yeah.
I chose Kerala. I don't know. I mean, I can't really recall why I chose it. Maybe because it was cheaper to move here. But the idea was for me to actually start a place and do farming, and not really a restaurant because that wasn't my thing. But my dad, he's been in this food industry for the longest time, so there's a lot of his influence. He would go to Europe every year, meet biscuit manufacturers, people in the food industry. So conversations were always about food, like at the dinner table. So that was there in the background. Then we had my dad had colleagues of his who were really good chefs who were willing to sort of come down and train our people and all that. So we had access to certain things.
Got it.
And then I think everybody has this in the back of their head, right? That I want to start a cafe or a
Yeah,
restaurant. Right?
everybody.
It's a
Yeah.
dream for everyone.
Yeah. So I think, and I had handled a lot of QSR brands in Dubai, like
Advertising.
food. Yeah. So I kind of also felt that, okay, I mean, how difficult can it be, right?
Yeah.
Because like in advertising, you're dealing with like big numbers, big people. And you're like, okay, I'm just have to run a. In fact, before when I quit, I had this director of mine. His name was Yusuf Pingar. He was asking me. He's like, "Yaar, are you really going to go there and kind of wear this thing and say, sir, good morning. What would you like to have for breakfast? Is that what you're going to go and do in?" I said, "Nay, Yusuf, there must be like I'm sure I can hire somebody who can do that for me." And and then I came here, and then for about a year and a half, I couldn't hire anybody. And I had to do all that slogging myself. There was this outlet in Kalur Kadwantra Road.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Which year was this?
2011 March is when I got back here. I think August or September is when we started shop.
I remember that one.
Were you here at that time?
I was here then.
Yeah,
I
I've
remember
been to that
crossing
one.
it every time I was going to school and back.
Yeah.
You were in school?
Yeah. Even I was in school. I was in 12th grade.
Okay.
So we used to buy the bread. You used to have that garlic bread, which like we used to
Oh,
buy at
yeah.
that time. And then there was that chocolate bread also where like
Well, Smitechi did
Yeah,
the
yeah,
interior,
yeah.
so yeah.
Smitechi's Shumbata Smita, who was there on the podcast long back. She's my aunt. For context, she did the interior
Interiors.
designing for
Yeah, for the
French
first,
Toast. Yeah, for the
yes.
first French Toast. Yeah.
So yeah, how was that first year and a half?
So yeah, I started this, and I was I had a fallout in my marriage at that time, so that made it even more difficult because I wasn't really the uh, brains or this thing behind. Me and Salman discussed between each other and came up with the name French Toast. It was his recommendation.
Salman is your brother.
Salman's my brother. Sorry, yes.
Where
have to keep
context?
giving context.
For context.
Sorry,
Might
sorry.
have to interrupt you for that.
Yeah, no,
because,
absolutely. So so because the marriage didn't really work out, and then I had to kind of step in and make sure that things are running well, and I had no clue how to run a bakery or so I was struggling for a bit. Um, but what happened was one fine day I happened to meet Shruti. She came in as a customer asking about something. Then we got into a conversation, and then eventually, she stayed for 10 years and just helped me do almost everything. Shruti, yeah, that was a big sort of point.
Shruti is like a head chef.
Chef.
Yeah, she started off as a R&D chef. She started doing R&D for a lot of products because we'd bring all these chefs from Morocco and Spain and all that, and they'd come with their recipes to do things like croissant or brioche or things like that. But it doesn't work in this context because the ingredients that we get here are very different. They behave differently. The temperature here, for instance, to do cakes and pastries, you need a slightly cold, dry temperature, and Kerala is the exact opposite, right?
Yeah.
It's hot. and
So
moist,
then so a lot of things. So Shruti really helped develop, identify all these problems, solve them. So we literally kind of created so many products over the 10 years. That helped. So she was there, and she was a person with a lot of integrity. So I didn't really have to worry about if we discuss that certain aspects of the kitchen quality have to be maintained. She would kind of fiercely defend it and maintain it. I mean, she would pull me up if I was slacking. So having a colleague like that made a huge difference. It also kind of put some perspective into my head as to what we want to do. Because when I started French Toast, the objective is just do something fancy and make money. And then I got into the business, and then I realized the quality of people that I'm working with, the environment that I'm working with, and it's really scary to know that there are very few checks when it comes to maintaining hygiene, cleanliness, or integrity of a recipe. For instance, if I tell you that I'm going to make a butter brioche, okay, with 50% butter, and if say I make it 35% butter, there is no way you can check.
Yeah.
Okay, there is nobody. So it's really down to me having to take that decision, right, when times are tough. Should I cut down that 15% and it'll help me pay salaries, or so those decisions, yeah, those are tough ones. I'm sorry, I don't know how we got here. It's just one big loop.
No, but that's fine. It's actually interesting because one of the things we wanted to know are like the challenges of running a coffee shop. Say someone who's like a 25-year-old who wants to start something of their own. What exactly should they anticipate? And also what should be non-negotiables? Like with you, we know for given that quality will always be paramount. Like I can go into French Toast knowing it's clean, ingredients aren't compromised, and that gives me a lot of comfort. So is there something that you also have like in terms of a checklist?
Yeah, I mean, it's your value system. At the end of the day, like in Islam, you say haram and halal, right? There are certain things you'll always do, certain things that you'll never do. For me, so food, like I said earlier, I look at it as a service. So for me, it's a ritual that I do every day. Wake up, clean myself, clean my environment. I do the same thing if I come to the office, to the kitchen. So those are standards that I set. Say with Mehraj, who heads service. So I've told him at any point, if you feel that hygiene is compromised, shut down the outlet. We don't want to do business when at a point where hygiene is compromised. So I have to kind of tell them that, make them understand I have to convince him also, right?
Yeah.
So, or many others like him. So those, I think, value systems, and those come from your upbringing, probably. What I'm trying to say is, I don't know if there should be like a checklist. Like, there's no SOP for if you do all these things, you have to do it like this. Because if everybody does it like how I do, then their individuality is lost in that,
Yeah,
right?
the authenticity. Yeah.
So a great thing to do would be, before you start a business, to really identify what your value systems are. See, for me personally, I'd like to hold my head up and speak directly to people, not be afraid, because in Malayalam there's something called kallattaram. I've done that a lot, right, in my life. Like, I've flicked money from my parents. My mom, she's so easy to steal from. So I've done all that. I've done all these things in school and or college, and then you realize, even initial days of work, but then it doesn't give you peace of mind, or that's not what I'm looking at. So I very early on, I kind of lost that thing for money, the greed aspect, like do anything for money. I think I figured that out while I was at work, or I don't know at what point. I think there was one point where we bought a fancy car for the first time in our family, and you're thinking, like, all through your childhood, right? Wow, someday you're gonna buy a fancy car. So we bought this. My dad got this fancy car, and I was like, this is big ass Jaguar. It didn't make me feel any different. So I was like, okay, it's fancy, but, like, I'm not happy. So I think it was that point that I realized that, okay, yes, money is required, it's important, but that's not going to be my driving force. So these are, I think, value systems. So if money is not your driving force, for instance, then you know I look at food also in a particular way. When I came here, one of the first things that I was told is, you need to maintain food cost. Food cost is a big thing. You have to maintain it at 25%, 30%, I don't know, some fancy numbers. And then I just started doing stuff. Started using ingredients that people were not using here, right? Kuvartiyo chocolate, to start with, like real chocolate, it was almost non-existent in this market. Started doing it, started making products, and then slowly, I don't know, at some point things started kind of working out together. So to come back to your question, I really don't know if there is a checklist for this, right? It's a very personal journey.
Yeah.
But if you were to give some advice to someone who wants to start, like, what would if it's like.
So where do I start now? I mean, if you have to be, so technically, you have to ace it. You can't not have any knowledge of product marketing, or you have to have work experience. So don't jump in and say, okay, I'm going to start a business. It might be a hit, but then if you have to set that business up later after it being a hit, you will take a hit. So I worked for a good 12 or 13 years before I started my own company. So that gives you a lot of context as to what your employees are thinking, how they must be treated, so that I think definitely helped me a lot. Me being in advertising helped even more, because in advertising, you're dealing with all industries, right from salt to aeroplane and everything in between, right? So I got a lot of exposure speaking to CEOs and marketing heads of different companies, different nationalities. So yeah, that. Um, in terms of, I mean, once you have enough confidence, tactical knowledge, I think the next thing is there's a human element in business, because business is really about people, about how you manage people. So as an entrepreneur, I think the biggest change I had to make was my perception of my colleagues and how I treat them, how I deal with them, how I deal with their problems. That is a big reason for people to kind of stick with me
Yeah.
along the journey. That I had to learn being here. In Dubai, everybody comes there with ambition, right? The moment you get out of home, your clock's ticking, you got to pay bills. So everybody comes to work with the intention to work and make more money. Here, that's not the case.
You need to like
I
build
have to
that.
like mollycoddle
Yeah.
people into getting up from their bed. It's like, beta, aja.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, that.
But do you think like passion is enough to start a cafe? Like you're passionate about food, but that's all.
Can you please explain to me what this passion?
So I believe that passion can't be your motivator to start anything. Like my strongest belief is you need to have some working knowledge of how things are in the real world. You can be passionate about anything and everything. But there is also a scenario where people are extremely passionate about something and they will do it till, I don't know, till the end of life. And somewhere along the way, they may find success.
I feel like passion is doing something that you don't know how to do and figuring it out on the way. Like you love it enough where you don't know how to do it, but you still want to, and then you figure out every step of the way.
Well, in my context, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, in terms of, I wasn't an expert on running a restaurant, or I didn't learn F&B, but I had experience running an ad agency, and I ran FrenchToast like how I would run an ad agency. I mean, like there was a status report and there was a briefing session, and so these are all things I take from my work in advertising. But yeah, passion is important, but I think you have to go beyond that. Passion's like, if you're in a relationship, that initial ignition, romance, that's all
Yeah.
great, but what about after the honeymoon, right? That's so their purpose, I think, is
More
critical.
important, yeah.
Vision, purpose, these things are because whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be able to connect to the community around you, with the people who are part of this business. They have to feel inclusive. It's really not setting up a coffee shop for me. Like for you, you look at it from outside. You're looking at it, and you call it a coffee shop because it kind of checks all this thing, right? And we sell coffee. But for me, like my brief to my boys is, guys, this is my place of worship. It is my temple or my mosque, so please respect it. My God lives there, which is either my customers or my employees, all the people. So keep it clean. So that is a context that we work in. I don't say this to people because it might be cheeky or cringe, or so, but it's our way of making things work. It works for us. And so we do things a certain way, and then what happens as a result of that is a clean coffee shop with good food.
This idea that the customer is king, is that something you believe in, or do you feel like the customer should be told, the customer doesn't know what they want and they should be told?
Didn't you get the answer in the smile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That smile is the customer doesn't do anything.
So, a customer is king. Yes, I mean, have you ever seen a king?
Yeah.
You know how they behave? So they're people who are elevated, right? I mean, spiritually elevated. They've got everything, and so there's a certain way they behave, right? So in that context, yes, if you have the perfect customer, that person needs to be given. But it's really, I mean,
But
Most kings are power hungry.
what makes a perfect customer? Like, is there something that annoys you about customers?
it used to annoy the hell out of me. Okay, but I can't expect a customer to be perfect. Okay, which is just because I am doing this work and I have great insight into what it takes to do this work. Um, that doesn't mean that you have to know.
Yeah.
You have to level with me, right? I don't know what pains you go through to do a podcast or to run a YouTube channel. Um, so I can't. I mean, like as a viewer, if I come and say, "Hey, do it like this," do it. I mean,
Yeah.
So, what makes a perfect customer would be a good human being, honestly.
Hmm.
Somebody who has a respect for the work
Servers and the
that
helpers.
we
Yeah.
do. Person who is serving you, the person who is cooking your food, just basic respect. Um, Maintaining basic decorum inside a store. You have people who are very loud. You have people who act bossy, who ask. Um, some are just inquisitive, which is fine. But this customer is king business is kind of. I mean, everybody uses that, right? Like, you assume that what that means is that customer is king, so you do whatever the customer tells you to do. I mean, I'm not in that business because, yes, for me, customer is king. To answer your question, I really have respect for people who come and eat from my cafe, and that is the reason I am so hell bent on ensuring that I don't compromise on quality uh, or hygiene. Uh, if you tomorrow come and tell me, Ayaz, do like biryani for me, I like it, and I can't do it just because you're a customer and king. I try to make that biryani, I probably food poisoning you to death, right?
But what is your approach towards customers then? Like, how do you, like for example, for us, a lot of content creators have this thing where it's like one video for me, one video for them. So is there something like that, like a parallel to that in the
What do you
food
mean?
business?
Like, for instance, one organic video and one branded video.
Or
Like-
like one video, no, it's like one video that will do well for the audience, and one video that's for you to satisfy yourself. Like it's to satisfy your creative urges. Those might not necessarily overlap, but sometimes they're different.
Everything in French toast is to satisfy me.
Okay.
Okay, end of story. Food is very subjective, and so you will have a lot of opinions about what should be right, So I have a basic thing about food is balance is important in the recipe. Balance, like if you have 10 ingredients, then to balance it out right so that one or two key ingredients stand out, and then there's a overall how you feel after eating the food. Does it digest well? So I have these uh, points. Yeah, so it's a very subjective thing. If you make a lasagna, if you increase cheese, it can be too cheesy. So I have these parameters that I go by. It's over years of experience working with Shruti. I've developed something for myself. So I have an idea of what I think is good food in my head, right? So I try and do that in every recipe. And so the taste, like sugar, for instance, right? 10 years back, I could do more sugar. So I could eat the Mars cake or I could eat the banoffee by that time. But as the years went by, I realized personally can't take too much sugar, and so I figured out a way. And also, there were people around me who were saying, "Hey, I think there's too much sugar in generally in the food that we get in Kochi." And so then I slowly started reducing the sugar in the recipes. So, yeah. At
But
the
so
end,
there's no dishes that you don't like in French toast, or you would rather not eat.
no, there's nothing.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Everything. There used to be a. So I know that somebody who worked with us in the past, and she had created this red velvet drink with a, I don't know, some red velvet cake. It didn't make sense to me, but
Was it a
I was
shake?
I was no, I think it was a hot drink with
Okay.
like red velvet
Sprinkles sort of
crumbles on it.
situation.
It didn't make sense to me, but like I was like, okay, just keep it because somebody's taken the initiative to do it, and but then I took it off the menu after a while. Uh, because I mean, if you come to me and if you ask me questions like why does this cost this much, or why does it taste like this, I have to have an answer.
Yeah.
So every product there is thought through. Every product on the menu. Okay. Not the times when you tell Chechi to, can you put that egg in this bread?
So I have one instance which I remember so vividly to date, and I had so much respect for you because of that. We were in the Kacheri Padi French Toast outlet, and I wanted to have mac and cheese. Now the mac and cheese, it comes with the chicken crispy fried bits, and I was like, oh, can you just remove the chicken, and I'll just have the mac and cheese. And I think they did that for me, but then you came and you told me, so the recipe has been curated in a specific manner, taking into account that those chicken strips will be on it.
Mhm.
So once you negate that, it changes the way it'll taste for you, and you may not like it. And I was like, oh my god, I have never met someone who has taken so much interest in their food being served to a customer, and you didn't even know me at that point.
It was just CYA procedure, right? Cover your ass.
Yeah.
Because I know that
which
if
is
you
why
don't
I
like
had
it.
massive respect, because in the legal fraternity also CYA is like the name of the game.
No, it's so what happens is we don't work with chefs, we work with cooks,
Yeah.
right? So something that maybe you guys don't know about French toast is um, all the people who are cooking your French toast and your omelets and breakfasts and all that, these are almost none of them have any culinary background.
Yeah.
So they're all trained from scratch. They've been told that, uh, you know, this is what you have to achieve and this is what you create. If you move one or two elements from that, or, say, I don't know, make this to that, whatever changes you, it might just change everything altogether. I might just screw it up. So, but in five-star hotels, for instance, um, where they can afford to maybe keep a chef on a shift every time, you can ask for customization, and because there is a guy to kind of figure out, okay, how will this work? Okay, fine, we can. People like us can't afford that.
No, but the whole reason this stood out to me was because if you go to any other place, they won't bother telling you that, oh, this may impact the way it tastes or whatever. They just want to give you what you want because they're getting their money in return, right? And you've ordered it at the end of the day. But
So I really don't believe in that. Giving the customer what they want, because we have a certain responsibility as people who are in the food industry. I'm not trying to control what you eat, okay? I'm just trying to tell you that
You have bad taste.
Your taste can be improved.
I mean, okay, will you go to a hospital and say, hey, doc, by the way, I think I have like cancer. Can you just prescribe this medicine to me? And the doctor says, okay, buddy, as long as you put your 10 lakhs or whatever. I mean, it's the same thing with food, if you look at it that way. Except, I think people just give a lot of importance to hospitals and they don't give as much importance to eateries. I don't find the logic in that, but that's what's happening.
So I have a question from some of the conversations we have had in the past. Like we all say that coffee shops are something which like it's been a dream for a lot of people. Like it's like I think coffee shops are one. Like you want to become an actor is another. You want to become a sportsman and play for your country. These are all like very glamorous uh, professions you can be a part of. But I've had conversations with you where when you first came from Dubai and like you didn't have enough personnel working in French Toast, you had to do like all the work in there, which meant like cleaning the bathrooms, cleaning the floor. So in that moment of time, did you think you were making a mistake by leaving your very
Cushy job.
job in Dubai, coming here, struggling it out? And did you like, in hindsight, obviously everything worked out, but in that moment of time, you obviously don't know what's happening in the future. Like you're looking at, like you're in a tunnel and it's dark. So what was your thought process then?
There is no thought process. You're shit scared,
Okay.
right? If you were to ask me this question of what a new entrepreneur must have is faith. I don't know how to explain this to you, but the ability to do your bit really well and leave the other 50% for nature or God or whoever it is to kind of, you have, if you reach that stage where you think that this is work that you're doing together, it's not, I'm not sitting here and curating everything about French toast. I'm doing my bit. I'm being in whatever way possible, and then what happens is the result of that. So having that faith is very important. I think I developed that faith because uh, you know, like the initial, I think for 5 or 6 years were um, very traumatic. Traumatic in the sense, I mean, for me as a, I'm not a people pleaser, as you've noticed, but so imagine a guy like me having to kind of say sorry so many times to so many people for like, and most of the time for absolutely no fault of ours, right? It humbles you, brings you down, but it also builds character. Um, I like I said, I mean, it gives you the confidence that I would probably never have this confidence if I were working in advertising and, I'd be driving a fancy car, but inside so that getting down on the ground doing those jobs gives you that confidence and that helps you go a long way. So, yeah.
But did you have days where you're like, okay, fuck this. This is definitely not working out. I don't think I can.
I want to go back. Did you have days of that?
Or when did you realize that this is a success?
I realized that it's a success. Honestly, just maybe a year or two back when I was sitting.
That recent.
Yes, very recent. Because, see, as a customer, you don't see what's going on behind the scenes, right? You don't see, like, it's like this, right? My hands, legs, everything is. I'm busy trying to hold my shit together, and then I had to smile at you and say, "Hello, welcome to French Toast. I'm losing my shit, but here's some coffee." So it was a huge struggle getting it to where it is. But I think 2 years back or something, I was sitting in FT on a Sunday and I was having a croissant and an Americano on a Sunday morning. And I'm like, okay, if I can afford to sit here in my shorts and t-shirt and, have a croissant and this thing, okay, we're set. I mean, there are still problems, but we can deal with them.
Yeah.
This, though, is... And like really relax and have a croissant, okay?
Yeah.
Knowing that Mehraj or Arvind or whoever is behind this thing will
Manage
take care
everything.
of, yeah.
Like, did you have days when you wanted to give up and like you were like you
Yeah.
said about faith and like I understand that, but like were there days when the faith was wavering and you were like, okay, this seems like it's too hard? Like, and I want to give context to why it is so hard is because like there is no like before, like obviously there were other coffee shops, but what Ayaz has created here is a sense of it's a sense which other people in other countries have, where people wake up in the morning and they don't necessarily eat at home, or they have a snack at home, but then on the way to work, or like they have a culture of going to a coffee shop, sitting, having a cup of coffee, sitting with their friends for a few hours, then going from there to another place, or like it's an activity. Before that, it was like Indians have this thing where they're going to a restaurant or a coffee shop to eat and leave.
Yeah.
So this was it was a culture creation. It was like, it's like
It's
that-
it's called the creation of a third space.
yeah.
for people? Between home and work, there's a place to go to and just be yourself and meet people and have a community.
That's what that Starbucks guy said, but yes,
Yeah.
in context, that's right. So,
So
I was
in
very,
those moments, did you feel like you were like, fuck?
theoretically, I was very clear about what I wanted to create, because what French Toast has turned out to be is, well, it's not really random. There are very specific decisions that you have to take along the way to kind of arrive at this. So theoretically, I was clear that I knew if I just kept doing this, I will eventually reach this end. But while you're doing it, the amount of forces at play here. I mean, there are nights that I've just sat down and cried, and just one instance was, I think this is during the initial times, I think the first year of operations, and I was working 6 days a week. I had to wake up early in the morning to reach there at 8 a.m. so that I can open the shop at 10. So clean, scrub, then get the stuff, place it. Then people come, then basically run that shop till 10 at night, then go back home. So that's 6 days a week. Monday was day off. And so there was one of those days where the shop is full and I have this blender with me. I have to clean the blender before I make the next order, and I'm cleaning the blender and I cut my hand and that entire shop is full of blood and I have nobody to help me, right? And then I leave everything there. I go to the supermarket next door, get bandage, and this thing comes, take care of this. All the time worrying that, oh my God, I had so many dreams of French toast. Now customers are going to see this shop and this guy, blood. So that was I broke down. And that was first. There was a point I remember driving back through that SH College road back to my house in Tevra, and I had 100 rupees in my pocket. Okay, this is the point where all my savings and everything got wiped out from building this business. That I really remember because I had tears in my eyes, not knowing how I'm gonna, pay salaries that month. Lot. I mean, COVID was also quite scary, but I think we were more resilient by that time. So more.
Yeah, you all had found your footing by then.
I think post-COVID, as a team, we kind of found our footing because we had dealt with a big, that 2018 flood time was difficult for us. So, but then during COVID, I think the team kind of came together. A lot of people stuck with me, especially after COVID, because of how you treat them during tough times, right? Like a lot of the guys who were there, they're standing by because I didn't let them down during COVID. So yeah, it's very scary. It's really character building. This industry is not for beginners.
How do you approach that aspect of building a team and leading them? How do you approach that?
I try to keep it very simple in the sense that there's always an element of relationship. Okay, it's not an employee-employer. For instance, if it is Bindu, Suja, for instance, Suja is my age almost. Okay, so I treat her like that, and our equation is that of one-on-one colleague. Mehraj, for instance, is like my younger brother. Okay, so I treat him like that. That is the. There are people who are older than me in the company who I respect merely out of age, and so to a lot of people I'm like a brother, like a father. It's not.
It's personal for everybody.
It's very personal. Yeah, everything about this business is personal. It's small, right? That is the advantage of being small, that you can make it personal. You can't have personal in McDonald's, right?
Yeah, you can't.
Oops, sorry, you want to beep that out?
We keep that.
What's the worst piece of advice you've got? Like, what's the piece of advice you think about sometimes and then like, damn, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know. What is the worst piece of advice? And I'm again drawing context from the conversations we've had. What did people tell you when you were on this crazy path of building this coffee shop, and they the negative comments that you got on the way.
Did you get any negative
He
comments?
100% got. Look at the eyes.
The
eyes never
I
lie,
just tried to
Chico.
get it out of him.
Negative.
And how do you deal with that again? Like, what is the negative things which were said, and how you face that?
Oh my God, there are tons of these, right? So I can write a book on them. The first year, the bunch of aunties who came when I was in KK Road, and we had this herb chicken sandwich with sun-dried tomatoes, and it was costing 250 rupees or something at that point, that sandwich. Oh, sorry, 190 rupees, okay? So, and this is, 2011. And so these aunties came out for like an evening walk, and then three of them, they came into the store and they saw this boy who was trying to, and you know how Malayalis are all like, the jada, that kind of. So I'm like standing there, I'm like, and then she's like, നിങ്ങളുടെ ഈ sun-dried tomato ഇറ്റലിയിലാണോ sun-dry ചെയ്തിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നത്? I'm like, okay.
She had no idea how good she had it back then.
Yeah. So there's that kind of passive aggression, which I was not used to. So, but at that point, I think what I did was I gave them a sample and made them taste it, and I genuinely approached them. And so after that 1 or 2 minutes of bullying, they kind of understood and they bought stuff from me. Went back. Those were initial. Then. I mean, we do get bullied all the time, I think. That passive aggression is constantly there. It hasn't
I keep
really...
trying to bully you guys into having more veg food on the menu.
I'd love to. The thing is that, you know how difficult it is to run a restaurant specifically in Kerala. Because we are a consumer state, right? Like, we don't produce as much.
Yeah.
So, for instance, in a city like Bangalore or Bombay, you have the outskirts, a lot of farming going on. There is a supply chain. There's leaves, vegetables, everything comes into the city
Sort of
every day.
self-sufficient in that.
Correct. Yeah. And so you have fresher produce, better. Here in Kerala, we are pretty much importing almost everything, including veggies and fruits and all that, right?
Yeah.
And our supply chain isn't great. It's okay. It's very so-so. Like, there's no cold chain, hardly any cold chain. So the ingredients that we work with are really poor. So for vegetarian food, this is very important. So the cost of doing vegetarian food here is far more than the cost of doing
Non-vegetarian.
non-veg food, because everybody likes beef or chicken and whatever. But having said that, because like I also eat in French toast every day. That's how I do my quality check, right? So we do have quite a few things on the menu. It's just that I think it's not there all the time. So yeah, that is a issue. Hopefully, I'm hoping at some point I'll be able to start a restaurant that is vegetarian.
I just wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on your favorite people in this whole world? Food bloggers.
Are you asking me about somebody specific?
No,
Or-
just,
Do you want to give us specifics?
You want to be asked for such?
I know the ones you don't like, but we don't have to get into the specifics. Just like generally, what do you think of the art of food vlogging? Is it being done right? Do you think is there an art to it, or is it?
Would
just,
you approach it differently?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would approach it differently. If I were to do food vlogs, I would first of all give context to, and I would have integrity in the sense that, look, like what I see today is we have people sending messages on Instagram, like, on our page. There is nothing inorganic there. Everything is organic. If you like the food, you put up a video, you tag us. If I like the reel and the context, I'll
Reshare it.
share it. That's how it works. So a lot of people come and ask us, do you want to do these collab video. I really don't know what we will collaborate on, right? So for me, it's just done without thought. As is most of the posts that I see from food bloggers. Even before they taste the biryani, they're like, "Oh wow, it's so amazing!" What? So or like even responses are very vague. Like, "This is the best that I've seen in Cochin," or like, "Who the fuck are you to say that?" Or what gives. You have to put it in context. Like, suppose there are, I don't know, 100 restaurants in Cochin. All of them are not the same. All of them, in their own individual way, are working on a slightly different business model. They give importance to certain things. Like, I give a lot of importance to hygiene and just order at work. Okay, I'm not saying that you will never. We don't. We all have screw ups. Okay, we all screw up every day, but that is our focus. We try not to slip on hygiene as much as possible.
Yeah.
There are some others who would probably want to focus on taste, right? So if your focus is taste, then the right way to go about it is use really good ingredients, use good technique of cooking, maintain a good kitchen. But most people just maybe fall back on like MSG and you make it flavorful and
Yeah.
so it's all. I'm saying it's all different. Food bloggers need to understand this.
Yeah.
And it's. I wrote this post sometime back on Facebook. I was really frustrated with how food vlogging was going on. And I was frustrated because you guys have power, right? You have the power of people following you. They are listening to your opinions. So then with that power comes what?
Responsibility.
Wow.
It's a school.
So now, if as a food blogger, if you just keep saying mandi parota beef, and that's what everybody's saying, then all the restaurant owners will also be forced into kind of having a mandi parota beef on their menu. That, I think, it'll be great if they understand what they're talking about. Like, there are people who call me up and say, why you guys price so high? Like, it's not even this expensive in Bangalore. I said, bro, it's cheaper to do business in Bangalore. Okay, you check out what is the per square feet rate of Koramangala versus Panampally Nagar. It's pretty much the same since the past 10 years. It's not cheaper but then if you lose your shit, it just turns into some unnecessary. So, we kind of just suck it up and chin up, move on, just ignore it.
But do you think they have they have an impact on like customers who come to your coffee shop, like to French Toast, like food bloggers, like?
Of course,
Or,
I mean,
or the impact is very surface level and like.
no,
it's just-
impact. I'll give you a recent example. Okay, you've been doing this mango croissant for, I think, 3 years now. This is the third year. Okay, this and up until now, every mango season, we put it there. Uh, I did as much as I could to promote, but like you put it on your this thing, somebody else put it on their feed, and suddenly like everybody is now asking for mango croissant. And like mango season's over almost. But definitely it has impact, and I respect that. But I don't know. It's somehow I feel like restaurants are always made to kind of look like the bad guy, or there's a sense of competition, unnecessary competition. Like I don't like that. Like best in Kochi, best in these are really silly things. It's like you're talking about Lamborghinis when you don't have a road. You understand? Like, we don't have a basic supply chain that comes of fruits and vegetables and stuff that comes into a city, and we're talking about like 5-star grade or Michelin star, or I find that really silly.
Why is it so difficult for places here to maintain? Like a lot of places open up and they do really well for 1-2 months and food tastes really good, but then it always tends to go down. Why is that?
I think a big part of it is culture. So I don't think Kochi specifically. I don't think there is a local culture that is built up over the years with food or how to eat food or it's very nascent right now. So and this restaurant business is one that looks very easy from outside.
Yeah.
Your entry, you probably need to invest 50-60 lakhs for an entry level, and it's easy. Most people have that money, they just think, okay, we'll do it, and they don't really give it thought. If you're building an app, you would think and sit and think and troubleshoot, and but in restaurant you don't think, who are you doing it for, what is your purpose of doing this,
Yeah.
what
And
do
I think
you
now with social media, it's become very easy to start something based on trends and what's happening outside. Like just get 1 or 2 products and like take off.
I mean, in a market like Bombay, for instance, yeah, one
Like because
product.
now matcha, for instance, has just become.
Very,
And I want your opinion on matcha.
When are you doing matcha, man?
Matcha.
So
We're
I
dying
did
for
matcha.
it. I hate it. Just so you know. I hate
Yeah,
it.
so I did matcha before matcha was a thing,
Okay.
and nobody realized.
Okay.
Then I took it off the menu. Okay, and now suddenly matcha is a thing.
Matcha has become a personality trait now.
Matcha is not a personality; it's a disease.
Do you genuinely like the taste of matcha?
So I have had matcha maybe a handful of times because I've only had bad experiences with it. Because I don't like the taste of plant-based milk, and you're supposed to have matcha technically with plant-based milk because that's how the taste of it is like maximized
That's
or
how
whatever.
the Americans marketed it.
No, I mean it's supposed to be done in Japan like that. I don't
Okay,
know.
Japanese. Okay.
I mean, it is a Japanese thing. But I personally didn't take to it. I probably liked it once in my life, but that's about it.
I really dig it. I really like
You
it.
like
You
it?
like the taste?
Yeah, I like the taste. I like it in like Kit Kat. I like it in cheesecake.
Oh my
I
God.
like it in like bubble tea form. I like it just with water.
So yeah, so that's the thing, right? What you eat, like if you have it in Kit Kat, you probably like it because there's a lot of sugar associated with that, But I've never been to Japan, so I don't know what matcha tastes like in Japan. Maybe if I taste it there, it might be a different experience. But of I'm not convinced, and that's the reason I took it off the menu, because personally I didn't really dig it. And if I put it on the menu and somebody comes and asks me something about matcha, it's just like I said, it's personal, right? If I don't like it,
You can't sell it technically like that.
yeah. But I mean, I'll have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Why do you have it on the menu if you don't like it?
So, will you ever incorporate something onto your menu just because it's a trend? Like right now in Dubai, for instance, we've grown up having Malai toast with tea.
I know, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, that's trending in Dubai
Yeah.
as a dessert. So, will you ever be influenced by what's happening on social media?
So see, I have very clear purpose about what I want to do. I'm very clear about what I want to do today, what I want to do tomorrow. It's very clear in my head. There are already, like as we speak, there are things that I want to do. There is a trajectory, right?
Yeah.
So I cannot afford to go behind trends. That's a completely different business model also.
Yeah.
This trend, like Dubai chocolate, for instance, the moment
kunafa one,
yeah,
yeah.
everybody's just taken to it. I really loved that combination of the
Pistachio,
recipe,
kunafa and everything,
and
yeah.
but I really like that combination. Maybe at some point, I don't know if we can get access to great tahina, great pistachio, all that, and if it's the right price point, maybe I'll have it on the menu. But as of now, no. I mean, it's not my.
Must be hard to like then just stay away from everything that's happening around and not like. I feel like it's the easy way, right? Like something's trending, just put it on the menu. You'll have sales.
It is, but it's also. I mean, see, I'm not dissing somebody who's doing that. Okay, it's just that it's a different skill set. I don't have those skills to be. I'm not the type of person who gets up in the morning and gets up on Instagram like fuck, oh, FOMO. What's somebody doing? Am I doing that? Am I doing this? There are like I've got extremely successful business entrepreneurs, friends of mine who are that.
Hmm.
They are looking at the next opportunity, and that's what you have to be, right? To be a rich entrepreneur. I am technically a farmer who's doing business. The way I operate or what I do, the decisions I take, those are the values that have been instilled in me, and I am doing business with those values. So it is difficult. People come and ask you, why aren't you doing this? Why, like, somebody told me, why can you please start calling croissant Prasant?
Oh, yeah.
How much of what you provide on a plate comes from your own production, like your own supply?
What do you mean?
Like
French toast
French toast
farms.
farms. Like, for example, a plate of a sandwich.
So I don't have like a number to tell you. See, this farm to table concept is very difficult to execute, because if it is farm to table, that means the menu has to be designed to the farm. Right.
Okay.
Right now, I've set a menu in place, and I have to provide this thing throughout the year. So I'm trying to kind of see as much as possible whatever it is that I can source from the farm. I'm sourcing here. Then, like, I have a lot of pepper and cardamom, so I try and use pepper and cardamom in a lot of recipes, because or
Mulberries, for instance.
mulberries, banana for banoffee. Uh, so that is the process. It's been going on for like 10 years now. And maybe eventually down the line, we'll be able to supply more. But
Can you tell me a little bit more about how you started French Toast Farms?
French Toast Farms actually was started by my dad and his cousin. They wanted to do. My dad was in Dubai. He was working, and he was a farmer when he started. So from Dubai, he wanted to do some remote control farming. So he bought some land, and for the soul, said I'll do this and all. I tried doing that for a while. At some point, again, it just seemed senseless when we would go there, because it was just a lot of we were putting a lot of pesticides into the soil. The soil was becoming bad. So we decided, if you're going to do farming, you might as well create that process. So 12 years back, we started that process of organic farming, like getting cows in there and improving the quality of the soil.
I also have a question. But
You
I have a
wanna
question.
okay.
What's with these glasses?
go? Yo, thank you. Thank you.
I knew you were going to ask me that. I just had a feeling.
Yeah, I feel like he's
I'm
been eyeing
sure.
them the whole time.
Like, what the fuck?
It is just, it's just to be cool, man.
He's aura farming.
I'm just trying. You don't think it's cool?
It's crazy
As
that
a-
you have
as
no
a-
real
as a-
answer for that.
As a bigger brother, you don't think it's cool?
You can humble him because he has bigger brother.
No, actually, the first time I wore it, I was really sleepy, and like it's seen on my eyes, so that I started wearing it. And then the second time, I realized it's a great thing is when somebody says something absolutely insane. Like, my reaction is on my face, but with the sunglasses, you can't really
Gets
tell.
cancelled out.
Yeah, so a lot
Yeah,
of
so I
times
really
I'm just
thought
like-
of.
I'm just like, but like
Yeah.
nobody sees.
I was in two minds about bringing my sunglasses up.
That would have been good. You ask your question?
Yeah, so there's a common theme or conversation people have around the pricing of your products in French toast, right? That's your question.
That was my question.
Yeah, even my question.
So, what makes the price what it is? Like, and if you could give us like different products, the usual suspects are orange juice.
Okay, wait, can I ask this
Water
question?
puff?
Can I ask this question?
Okay,
I want to phrase this question so we can make it into a reel also.
Cool.
Ayaz, how dare your egg puff cost 90 rupees where I can get it for 25 at a Tattagada, not 200 meters from French Toast? How dare your orange juice cost 200 rupees?
No, I
Where
can
I
do
get
that.
it
I'll
from-
do that. So
Okay,
then
you
it's
go
two
for it.
reels.
Okay, go.
How dare your orange juice cost 250 rupees
250.
Yeah,
Around
250.
200. Oh, yes,
250.
when you can
No,
drink
I
it
don't care.
for like 40 rupees
At Haji.
or 20 rupees? So we'll go for Motor Puff first. Pike Puff.
No, let's go with oranges
Oh,
first.
okay, oranges. Okay. The man is here with
So-
the passion, the vengeance.
Can you please tell me what you get for 40 rupees?
Like, the Chatan just makes orange juice.
What does he do?
He puts the orange in the...
Have you seen him do that?
Yeah, I've seen it. Like,
Okay.
zzz, and then it comes out.
And
and
how
then-
many oranges?
That I don't know. I have not really calculated.
Okay, so in the orange juice, basically, now one thing you have to understand is in pricing, right? There are many factors. It's not just the uh, cost of raw materials. It's also like electricity cost of keeping people, cost of
The
multiple.
hidden costs.
Sorry.
Hidden costs.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, yeah, tons of costs associated with it. In something like the orange juice, for instance, right? What we do is in that glass that we serve in Panampally Nagar, I think that's almost 1 kilo of orange makes one glass. I think 900 grams or something of orange juice makes one full glass of orange juice. Okay. What we do with this orange is every day there's somebody who goes and picks up. Depending on what the requirement is, 10, 20, 50 kilos of oranges. Every day, one person has to sit and sort through these oranges, okay? Now, during season, Nagpur oranges are available, but they're all very poor quality that we get here. So, you have to go through them. At a low price, I think oranges would be available for maybe 40 rupees, 45 rupees now per kilo. While at its peak, it might be 160, 180, I think, like Valencia, those. So, what we have to do is we have to take these oranges, bite every day, sort them out, then clean them, put them in the chiller, because you need cold orange juice, right? And we can't add water or ice,
yeah.
right? Or sugar syrup. And it's not like I sell 100, 200 orange juice every day. There's a limited amount of this thing that I can sell, right? And if, say, Mehraj is making the orange juice, okay? Mehraj has been making it, say, for the last 10 years. So every year I have to give him an increment. His cost goes up, right? His experience and his work also gets better, but cost goes up. So in a place like us, for instance, it's an expensive asset making your orange juice or your cake or whatever. So there's that element. Doing it in a clean environment is a huge cost, because cleaning is or hygiene is not a default thing. Like if you'd go to, say, Dubai, okay, it's default, like basic. You can't be not clean because the entire country is clean. You can't just go and be dirty there. So here, the entire place is dirty. You're the only one trying to be clean. That's a big cost. Yeah, so there are all these various costs associated with. And then you come and occupy space in that place which has 33 or 34 chairs. Okay. On a Sunday, somebody comes there, sits, orders an orange juice, drinks it, sits there for an hour and a half, I don't know. And I've basically recovered 250 rupees from that person, right? And Sunday is the day that I do maximum business, right? And so everything adds up, bro. I mean, you work there, you know how it is, right?
Yeah.
So, I could always compromise on things and try and make your ego happy and say no, we'll. But why should I discount my work? Do you think I'm not putting in 100%? I mean, don't you have customers who come to you and say, Sharan, you're too expensive, why don't you give me a
100%.
discount? Huh?
Yeah, 100%. But yeah.
But do you do that?
No, I don't. I won't change anything. I'll still.
Why
keep
not?
this. Because because whatever is on the menu is what I like. So if you don't like it, fuck off.
Plus, I feel like a lot of places here, they just add, it's just a little bit of orange juice and then it's just water and ice.
See, I don't know, okay, but usually, so this orange juice is orange juice and black coffee are very funny because when we started, it wasn't a coffee shop; it was a tea lounge, and I was serving tea. But I was a coffee drinker, and I couldn't get a good cup of coffee, so I said, okay, I'm gonna make a good cup of coffee for myself. Um, Same thing with orange juice. Like I was used to drinking a fresh orange juice in Dubai, and you just couldn't find it here because they would either add water or ice or sugar syrup, or it just be like rotten oranges, some nonsense like that, you know. Uh, so then I did this. I got a machine from France, and I mean it's a very nice machine. Also, the one that
Yeah,
been
it's a very
working for
nice
10
machine,
years, 14 years now. So we got that, tried making it, and then put some random pricing, and then ran it for 1 year, 2 years. Then eventually, by the way, orange juice is the top selling product in FD.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So much for it being expensive.
No, but just for context, I go to Haji Ali. It's I think it's 120 or 150 there, and it is like maybe the same size cup, but it's
Water.
ice, and very little orange juice, and you can taste the sugar in it as well. You have to tell them specifically to not add sugar.
To be honest, I go to French Toast and I only go to French Toast, so I don't actually know what it costs outside. when Ayaz is asking me,
really,
what do you get
people are
outside? I don't know, bro. I've never gone outside anyway.
But I feel like I'm probably the most difficult customer because my theory is if I can get it at home, I'm not going to order it outside.
Yeah.
So I don't have orange juice at French Toast because I usually drink my juice at home, and I'll never order tea anywhere outside because in my mind it's boiled water, and in most places it's a tea bag, right? So for me, I find it personally very expensive because it's accessible to me at home, but I get the logic that you've laid out.
So that's what I also want. Okay, if the entire city were proficient in cooking and doing their own stuff, right? It'll be great. Do it yourself.
Yeah.
Do it at home. Like you don't have to pay 400, 600 rupees for a salad. Just buy it yourself. I mean, buy the stuff, make it yourself
Yeah.
at home. It's fantastic. But if you want the same thing outside, like for instance, if you're making tea at home, your bartan will be clean. Okay, you know that
Yeah.
you'll be making it in
Those
a clean
balances
environment.
are there, yeah.
Yeah, that costs.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
Butter puffs.
The famous
so
butter puff.
I hate to break it to you, okay, but whatever you've been eating for 25 rupees is not what I'm selling for. Not 90 now, it's 120, I think. Just increasing the prices, by the way.
You heard it here
You heard it
first.
here first.
You heard it here first because, I mean, logistics costs have gone up, food costs have gone up. Nobody wants to blame the government. Everybody wants to catch the collar of the restaurateur, okay? Because that's when you realize, oh my God.
Yeah.
No, the fuel prices have gone up like since, it's been a few months. The impact on ingredient cost happened in May, and now we have to increase the prices. So it's not, there's this assumption that, the moment the prices go up and, suddenly like this guy will be driving a BMW. No, it's not happening. Money is going straight to the suppliers. Egg puff, the egg puff that you get for say 30 rupees, to give you an example, chances are there'll be one guy making maybe 1,000 egg puffs, okay,
In a day, you're saying.
in a day, yeah. And he's probably supplying it to multiple places, okay. That's what happens. So this place where they're making a masala and mixing egg and whatnot, there's the hygiene aspect in that place, okay. Some are made in big factories, so hygiene is taking, like, I think most of these big bakeries in Kerala, especially the ones in Kerala, I feel are a little more clean, like Navya and all of them, because I think we have generally slightly higher standard of hygiene. So those would be clean, but in small shops, they're probably supplied to by people who don't have a proper kitchen setup and all that. Then there are ingredients, right? So the flour that you use makes a difference. There are so many different grades of flour. If you use butter versus margarine, I don't know. Do you know what margarine is? dalda.
Yeah.
You've heard of dalda. So basically, these are things that emulate natural ingredients, but they're not natural, right?
So
they-
butter, margarine is a substitute for butter.
Yeah,
Very bad
I mean it's
for you.
I mean it's like a bad knockoff of a butter.
And why is it bad?
Health.
Because synthetic ingredients. So I think I read this somewhere that margarine, the chemical composition is like one molecule away from being plastic or some such. So it's, but you use margarine because that's more stable, bake stable. You know, the texture makes the butter puff look more buttery. Sometimes people mix margarine and butter just so that you get a little smell in the thing of butter. So there are so many aspects that you can change to bring down the price. Now my egg puff, we probably do 20 or 30 a day, okay, max, for both the outlets. That's all. That's all that we do, right? So say 20 into 120 is the new price, is what?
24,000.
No wonder you're asking me why is it so fucking expensive. 20 into 120.
That's 24,000.
2,400.
2,400.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not good at math, guys.
It's not even worth your fucking TRP ratings discussing 2,400. Because what I'm saying is, it's not like I'm doing 25,000 rupees worth of business that I can afford to. You know, there are these bunch of people who are spending time doing egg puff and earning what? 2,400, 2,500 rupees. And we are doing a bunch of small things like that. Right? And then somehow along the way everything gets paid for, and so our model is not like a mass production or factory model where you can say that, oh, you know, so you compare it to, you know, small shop for instance that you're talking about. They don't assume that these people in small shops get up in the morning and they make their own motta puff and, you know, they're making 20 pieces. No, actually the small shop is me. The people in the small shops are following big business models where they're trying to do things in mass. That's why you don't have quality in food, right? In Bombay and all, there are. In Tamil Nadu, I can see there are some small vendors. In Malappuram and Wayanad also, I've seen. There are small shops where, you know,
They produce their own motta puffs and pastries.
maybe not motta puff, but mutton curry, dosa. Make small quantities and they make it well. That is a small enterprise. I think those things need to be encouraged because, I mean, like I got motta puff into the market because I wanted to eat it, honestly. I want to be, you know, so like I enjoy it.
It's a good ass motta puff.
Yeah, it's the best egg puff.
You
I've
haven't
ever
eaten
eaten.
anywhere else.
No, I've eaten. Funnily enough, egg puff. Egg puff and veg puff. I've eaten in other places, but like this is
Quite good.
insane. I feel like soon there'll be a black market where like people buy and resell in the black market.
Yeah, we didn't discuss amongst each other, but I bought 3 mango croissants. He bought 7. We had 10, and we were like, "This is a good business. We should resell these."
I always threatened Mehraj Singh, I will set up shop right opposite.
No, yeah, I mean it's, you know, this was the most humbling experience in my life, running a coffee shop, because I came into this thinking it's going to be damn easy and, you know,
Cakewalk.
whatever, cake. And so it wasn't. It really kind of, you know, scrubbed my face on the ground, learned through being humble, humility. But then once you go past that, you're also standing strong in the face of criticism and opinions, because you know what you're doing, what is possible, what is not possible, and all these people who are sitting on the other side and, you know, giving opinions are like people who are commenting, right, on
Yeah.
football matches.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, he could have done that. He could have done this. No, I mean, yeah, you can always be a commentator, but you're not playing. So
Ooh.
That was hard.
that's the fact.
They don't make statues of critics.
Yeah, true that.
How was the experience? Did you enjoy having this conversation? Like, would you do it again?
Thank
Was it
you.
worth your time?
No, sorry. No, I wasn't a no for that. No, I'm really grateful that you gave me an opportunity to explain this, because usually what happens is, people come up to you and they're very aggressive and they say, "Why is your motta puff like 100 rupees or whatever?" So and you're
I
like,
feel like you should just say because I can.
Yeah, like why even give them an explanation?
No, but I think it's very
Because-
important to educate now.
I can't, because I find it cocky now. Like maybe 10 years ago, I would have done it saying because I can, I'm CEO, bitch, or that kind of stuff.
We should have this in the edit. I'm CEO, bitch.
Delete all the parts where you said the things which make sense and just add these parts.
Buy your bottom of so expensive. But I'm CEO.
Because I can.
So that would be cocky. That wouldn't be right, I feel. There is, but yeah, like you said, I think it's time that we have to start educating people. But also, people don't like to get educated, so you can't really kind of give them a class on motta puff.
Yeah. No, because I think for me also, because I'm trying to be healthier in the food that I consume, now I end up reading ingredients every time I'm buying something off the
Oh
shelf.
man, that's really that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, the amount of times you guys, everybody is getting ripped off in the food industry is unbelievable. When I really got full grip on what is going on, like I can't trust people in food industry anymore. Really, because think about it, okay? You go into a supermarket aisle, okay, and at the second last row where the kids can have direct
Vision,
eye, they're on eye level with children. They package biscuits and chocolates in using the help of psychologists to create packaging that is attractive and make them buy these products that are infused with sugar, okay, which is addictive, right?
Palm oil.
And use palm oil and all that. Like, so if you look at Oreo, looks great, but you look behind it and see what goes into it, right? And if you actually make the effort and get onto Google and see what is the meaning of all these ingredients, okay, so if you can just put it into context what exactly is happening, I think it's horrible. And the big corporations are doing this, and I think it just comes from a space of greed, really. So,
Yeah, there's no ethics, I feel, anymore. Like,
well, in India, there is no ethics because the same Oreo, if it was made in Japan or in
Different
the European
ingredients,
Union,
yeah.
the standards are different.
correct.
Okay, so I think we are basically we don't have ethics because us as consumers, we don't put our foot down and say, I cannot put up with this shit. You have to do that. Like, but for you to start doing that, you have to first learn about food.
Correct.
And so for a lot of people, that's not really priority
Yeah.
until they hit their late 30s or 40s.
No, absolutely. So my perception changed. So earlier, when I entered the supermarket, I just wanted to see where Nestle products were placed because I used to have Nestle shares. Then,
No one has ever went to a supermarket and thought that.
no, I mean, that is how you analyze how your stock is going to perform.
Okay, sure.
And then I wanted to be conscious of what I'm putting in my, body. So I started looking at what was behind the packet, not like the label on top. But that also has only happened to me because of social media, because there's a lot more awareness and it's easily accessible awareness. And so this is the whole reason why I read, like, okay, is there palm oil? And that's the easiest ingredient for me to, like, sort of identify as bad for you, aside from sugar.
You need to understand the difference between fresh food and processed food.
Yeah.
understand which is which, and both are important. It's not like you eat fresh food throughout your lifetime and then you're going to be perfect. Your body needs junk food to build immunity, right?
Yeah.
So, but just knowing that itself is a big.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you for having me on this podcast.
Thank you for coming. This is a podcast which took months for it to
Delivery.
finally happen.
But I thought this is not a podcast.
Oh, I mean,
Make up your mind, bro.
No. We're CEO.
Do you give me like one of those Karan Joe's
Karan-
coffee voucher? No, I don't get
you'll
that.
have to drop us back home.
Yeah, we literally came with Ayaz. We're going back with Ayaz.
My God, this is one of those chaya paripura type of podcasts.
I want to say thank you to you. I feel
Thank
I
you.
feel so personal. Like I feel like French toast is mine. That's how.
Yeah.
Like when I'm
Feels
there,
like home.
like if there's a guest asking for a menu, but like all the servers are busy, I'm like, shut up. Or like if there are no tissues in the bathroom, which is rarely happens. But if there are, I'll go tell Chichi, there's no tissues. Like let's.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. It's so true that it takes a village to raise a baby, and this baby is really, it's being raised by the people of Cochin, and by people of Cochin, I mean our customers who have been. There've been so many times where they give me the stick and say, like along these years, because you start somewhere and then you drop and then you have to go up again, then you drop and then you go. So at every point there is like people like Ria holding her this thing and saying, Ayaz, the coffee is like okay. So I don't think I could have done this without the
Without me.
people. Yeah.
Okay, without people.
Huh?
He said without me.
Well,
No, like what I see as because I grew up watching like Friends. Because like when we were growing up, Friends was a TV show which I feel like every Indian who has had access to any kind of TV show has watched. And when I see French toast and I see my friends sitting around, I feel like it's like Friends playing out, and that's
Yeah,
the
Central
coffee
Park.
point. Central Park.
really,
Yeah.
like when I was growing up, I watched. I used to read Archie comics, and Archie used to hang out. Archie and friends used to hang out at this place called, I think, Bob's.
Pop's Diner.
Pop's Diner, yeah, correct. So there was this thing, right, when I was in like class 6, or hey, so I should go into like a place and like order burger and fries and hang out with my friends, but I was too poor. I couldn't afford it. So, I mean, it would cost maybe 15-20 dirhams to do that kind of. So how do these guys do it in America like every day? They go. So, yeah, I could never do that. So I'm happy I've finally turned into Pop Dates.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Ayaz, for coming.
Thank you. Yes, I love you.
I love you.
You don't have to say it back.
He didn't say it back, bro.
You don't have to say it
I
back.
love you too, bro.
I said I love you. You said thank you. I just want. It was on.